Welcome back to LePodcast, episode 70. As always, you're here with Hoop, Saney, and the infamous Easy Huncho. Saney, welcome back. Well-deserved vacation.
It's good to be back, man.
You mentioned to me before that you needed something. You had something to say.
Yeah, I do have something to say. And real quick before I get to it, I realized, and man, I don't know if this is just me. I'm not saying this to be corny, but I was on vacation and I saw you guys upload 2 episodes and I could not enjoy my vacation because I was like, man, I want to record. I didn't realize how much I loved doing this show until I left and I couldn't do it for a week. So I just wanted to say how grateful I am. But I will say this.
He's a gym rat, folks.
I'm a
loves the grind.
Rat. I love the grind. But anyway, no, I actually was like, I was pissed, especially like everything that happened in the last week. The 1 week I take off.
There was a lot.
So like,
much. We'll get it done today, though.
You guys recorded some great episodes either way. So, I will say this. My heart was broken, guys. My heart was broken. All that time that we've dedicated to this pod, all those hours, and I missed episode 69. I missed episode 69. I was heartbroken, bro. I didn't even realize until I got that notification the podcast episode 69 has been uploaded.
I was upset that Z did not pause when I first introduced it.
That was a disappointment too. I would have been the first. I would have paused the whole episode. I would have ended the recording.
If Sadie was here, I would have paused. If Sadie was here, I would have paused.
Oh,
for sure.
Man, I was sitting at a steakhouse and I'm enjoying myself. And I'm like, take it back. I like threw the plate at the plate. Just take it back. I don't want it. I went and I had McDonald's and I ate and I was sad. No, but I had a great trip. Good time away, but I'm more than happy to be back.
Yeah, I got to make it out to Montreal one time. See all the French people.
Bonjour.
We could talk about someone who might be playing in France, though, after this season. Dillon Brooks. There's a lot of playoff basketball going on, but surprisingly, it's the one dude who's not in the playoffs anymore that might be the hottest in the media right now. The Grizzlies put out a statement saying that he's not coming back under any circumstances, and I don't know if an NBA or any sports franchise has put out a statement like that to a dude who has not committed a crime.
Do we know? Do we know that like the Grizzlies actually said that? Because I saw JJ Redick talk about it on First Take, and he was like,
Woj.
But here's the thing: I was listening to JJ Redick on First Take, and he was complaining about how they're treating Dillon like the scapegoat, and that their choice of words made it seem a lot worse than it is. Like I don't know if you saw that rant on First Take.
I completely agree that Dillon Brooks is like being
a scapegoat.
Torched by the media. Like 100%. ESPN has posted edits of him being humiliated on the bench. Like it's disgraceful in that they're trying to make him a villain. It's really weird. But point of the question: do you think he's gonna be in the NBA, and who do you think could take him?
Yes, dude. Like here's the thing, and people aren't talking about it. I'm not sure if you guys know, but there was 2 reasons why the Memphis Grizzlies cut Dillon Brooks. Now his offseason or his on-court antics could be a reason. I don't have an issue with his antics because number one, it's like the guy's just passionate and he's trying to get in the swing of things, right? Like, for example, he poked the bear. Bro, it's LeBron James in the freaking playoffs. Like, I'm going to try to not cuss here, but it's LeBron James in the playoffs. Do we really believe that LeBron James played good because of Dillon Brooks poking at him? Do we really believe that's the only reason that LeBron James turned up? Do we really believe that's the only reason the Grizzlies lost? Was it not because Steven Adams was out? Was it not because Brandon Clark was out? Was it not because their superstar John Morant was punching 17-year-olds? Was out here and getting arrested and stuff?
No,
I'm just saying. No. I'm not.
You could have just said he had a bad hand. You didn't have to go that far.
No.
I'm
not even talking about John Morant's injury. I'm not talking about. I'm not. I forgot he broke his hand. That's another reason. I forgot he broke his hand. I'm not just talking about his injury.
I'm talking about the reason he lost to the Lakers is because of he punched a 17-year-old like
no. Bro, you gonna let me finish? You gonna let me finish?
Okay.
You gonna let me finish? I'm talking about the Grizzlies in general. You can't blame the Grizzlies' downfall on Dillon Brooks. Like, look at other things that happened throughout the course of the season. I'm just bringing up stuff that's happened, right? Where it's like your superstar wasn't even focused on the game for half the season because he's out here doing, God knows what. Again, you have 2 key pieces who get injured. Your superstar, like you brought up, gets an injured hand, and it's like, oh, but Dillon Brooks is the reason they lost because he poked at LeBron. That's not the reason they lost. This whole season, they've been out of sync. This whole season, the Grizzlies have been out of sync in terms of what they've been doing off the court. They were bound to crumble come playoff time. This is not a surprise to me that they didn't make it far in the playoffs. To treat Dillon Brooks as a scapegoat is ridiculous, right? And I will say this, the two reasons, like I said, there's two reasons why the Grizzlies didn't re-sign him. Number one, he asked for $25 million a year. That's too much, in my opinion, for Dillon Brooks. Why would the Grizzlies pay him that? Number two, he asked for a bigger role in the offense. People aren't talking about that. People are just using the fact that he used LeBron, he poked at LeBron, and now the Grizzlies want to get rid of him because it was his fault they lost. It wasn't his fault they lost. Dillon Brooks is not the reason they lost that series.
He's part of the reason.
He's not the main reason.
You saw his shooting splits, bro.
I agree. He was terrible.
I'm looking at him right now.
But he's not the main reason.
Want a bigger part in the offense?
You
he
take
already
Dillon
has
Brooks.
the green light for no reason.
I agree. But to treat Dillon Brooks as the sole reason, where it's like, oh, you get rid of Dillon Brooks, all your problems are solved. All your problems are solved. Like Draymond Green said, the dynasty starts after you, not with you. Bro, there's no dynasty in Memphis right now just because Dillon Brooks is gone. They need to bring in more pieces. They need to do something new for them to have a dynasty. The dynasty doesn't start because Dillon Brooks left. The dynasty is going to start because they're going to start making some new moves. That's the difference, right? That's what I'm trying to address here. And again, I'm not paying $25 million a year for Dillon Brooks. Nobody is. Nobody in their right mind is. Let's be honest, right? And nobody's giving him a bigger role in that Grizzlies offense. He already had too big of a role. In my opinion. He shouldn't have had that big of a role. I see teams like the Bucks being able to use him. I see teams like the Cavs being able to use him. He's still a 3-and-D guy that could be used by teams on the right contract. I think I would pay around like $10 million for him a year. That's where I see Dillon Brooks as in terms of what he is as a player. I think he definitely does have too big of an ego in terms of what he thinks he is in the league. To me, he's a glorified role player. Right, and that's no disrespect because he's still making millions of dollars, and I'm not hating on the guy. Don't take this as hate towards Dillon Brooks, but that's what he is. He's a glorified role player. He's a role player that got too much attention from the media, and now he thinks way too much of himself to the point where he thinks he can go at guys like LeBron James, Draymond Green, whoever it may be, but he can't because he hasn't earned that respect. He hasn't earned that credibility yet to be doing that. So I agree in that sense, but to treat Dillon Brooks as a scapegoat is absolutely ridiculous. We saw the same and a similar situation with Russ, by the way, in the Lakers, where it was like you get rid of Russ, all their problems get solved. Their problems got solved because they got a brand new roster at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
but we won't get started on that.
So the way I look at it is like I look at it from the standpoint of they are trying to use him as a scapegoat to mask the other problems that this team has. You cannot sit here and tell me if you're Memphis's front office that you're looking at this like, oh, we can get rid of Dillon and then we're going to be contenders. That's not what's going to happen. Your leader and your best player had like 7 allegations on him throughout the year, one of which caused him to miss significant time to work on his mental health. Not to mention Steven Adams not being there and Brandon Clark. My issue with the Grizzlies is like, I was watching Undisputed, and Shannon Sharp, of all people, came to Dillon Brooks' defense when he said, you can't sit here and tell me that Dillon Brooks is really at fault for everything that he did. Besides, like, I mean, he put a lot of the issues on himself by opening his big mouth. But like at the same time, your coach and your organization is like condoning this behavior of you guys like talking shit and not backing it up at all, but thinking that you have won 5 championships, so you have the accomplishments and accolades to talk as if you're a dynasty, things like that. And I was like, oh, you know what? Shannon's low-key right. Like, if I'm thinking about it from Taylor Jenkins' perspective, I'm him. Like, why wouldn't you tell your players to stop talking? You need a veteran like
because because he wants his job.
Oh,
look what happened
so here's my
Nate
thing.
McMillan.
When you're right. When I look at the Memphis Grizzlies,
they could run him out of town so quick.
They could, but Taylor Jenkins, I actually like him. I love Taylor. The problem that I have is that Memphis as an organization is in sort of an identity crisis. They want to be thugs. They want to be the bad boy Pistons of the Western Conference in 2023, but they don't have the talent to be able to do that. Ja Morant is not at his peak offensively yet even. Like when you're looking at him as a player, like in the matchup against the Lakers, you could say, oh, they had a better team. Well, they had a healthier team. Or it was the simple case of what I told you, Hoop, in the last episode, which was you have Ja Morant and Dillon Brooks as perimeter threats, and you think that that's going to win you a championship, let alone a series, let alone a game in a series. So, and Desmond Bane, right, is your number 1 3-point option with Luke Kennard being out or whatever the case was with him. So outside of that, you have no shooters. besides what Ja thinks he is on the internet. But with Dillon Brooks, he goes out there in the media, and this is my biggest issue with Dillon Brooks. You ever heard the expression, your mouth writes checks that your ass can't cash? That's what happened to Dillon Brooks in this series. You would think that the Grizzlies went up like 2-0 on the Lakers with the way he was disrespecting our precious king. But in all actuality, what happened was the Lakers win game one.
Why do you say that so seriously?
Because he's our precious king. What do you mean? Like, you gonna let him disrespect Braun? You gonna let him disrespect LeBreezes Christ? I don't think so. Anyway, my point is that in game one, the Lakers won, right? So they went up 1-0. Then the Grizzlies win game two, and Dillon Brooks goes to the media and starts talking out the ass, disrespecting our precious king. With words of, he's old. I don't respect anybody until they give me 40. I wish I had Miami LeBron because that would be a harder task. I'm sitting here listening to this, man. I'm thinking to myself, bro, look, when you are LeBron's primary defender is where he plays the best brand of basketball so far in the series, is when Dillon Brooks is the primary defender. He's shooting over 60% from the field. Outside of that, he's shooting, I think, over 40% from three. He's scoring efficiently on you, on your head, right? But you're out here talking and you're shooting 31% from the field and 24% from three. That is atrocious. I think Dillon Brooks ranks like dead last or close to the bottom of the pile in terms of playoff performers. Like, there is a legitimate argument that you can make that Dillon Brooks was the worst playoff performer so far. And you got people at the bottom of that list like Jordan Poole, like, and Draymond Green, if he's not really being as productive as to Draymond Green standards, right? But the way I see it, like, you can't use Dillon Brooks as the reason as to why you think your season's going to turn around if you let him go. Because obviously there's a lot more things that you need to get addressed. To me personally, when I look at this Grizzlies team, the thing that makes a great basketball team starts with the leader. And if you don't have a great leader that has, like, I don't know, a mature demeanor about him, the least you could do is have a mature veteran like a Udonis Haslem on the bench to set people straight. They don't have that. If I'm not mistaken, Dillon Brooks was their veteran. So you're already setting yourself up for failure right there. If the young guys or John Moran or whoever you want to say is like looking to, shape up their act, they have Dillon Brooks to look at as an example. And then Dillon Brooks goes out there and says, I don't respect anybody until they give me 40. Then Braun puts up 20-20 on his head and they lose game 6 by 40. Now, if I'm the Memphis organization, I'm sitting here thinking, damn, the Lakers must have took that to heart. They said, we ain't satisfied unless we win by 40 or more. We ain't satisfied unless LeBron ain't giving you 20 or 20. Like, think about that. So to Shannon Sharp's credit, I'm going to say this is my last thing before I let Hoop go. Shannon Sharp said, if you really think, because Skip was like, do you really think that the Lakers, like, use this as motivation? Shannon Sharp was like, yeah. And it's too good to be true. You mean to tell me that not only does that happen, Braun gives you 20-20, but they win game 6 by 40 in convincing fashion. Braun and AD end up checking themselves out of the game because they're mollywopping you. Anthony Davis blocking Dillon Brooks saying, get that ish out of here. And then him and LeBron are staring down Dillon Brooks as yes, the Lakers used every single ounce of what Dillon Brooks said in the media after the game as motivation. And that's what I love about playoff basketball. You talk shit, you got to back it up. Dillon Brooks for some reason had the green light, but he can't knock down shots like that. I'm not expecting Dillon Brooks to give me 30 like I'm expecting LeBron to give me 30, right? So I think that Dillon Brooks talked himself into a situation now where he's looking like it's just getting worse and worse for him. I do believe he still has a spot on a team for sure. I don't think that he's going to China because he's still a valuable defensive player. And like Sandy said, he wanted a bigger role, and Dillon Brooks said, oh, I don't want to be Memphis has me as a 3-and-D guy. I'm like, well, what else are you going to be? You're barely even a 3 guy. You're just a D guy. But if you put him on another team, maybe get him some more touches. Maybe he amounts to something, but I don't see Dillon Brooks going anywhere else other than Memphis, having as many opportunities as he's had to shoot the ball in Memphis and make it any sort of significant impact. I don't. I don't know about you, Hoop.
Yeah, so, I mean, I agree with the whole it's not entirely his fault thing in Memphis. I've said before, I think their dream target should be Jimmy Butler because he's got that competitive edge to him that a lot of guys on the Grizzlies think they have. I mean, like, they just need to be molded right? They don't respect their vet in the locker room, which is 29-year-old Steven Adams. They got to respect Jimmy after what he's doing. So if he walks in there as, like, this mega million guy who's, like, coming off fresh off this playoff run, it's like, yeah, now we get to work, and he's more fitting to guide them to the promised land. From a spacing perspective, it's not much better, but I'm saying you'd kind of, hope Ja gets a little better. But regardless, that's more of like a personnel fit, like a personality standpoint. Dillon Brooks, I was looking through the teams that like could possibly pick him up. It's hard because if you're a contender, I would stay away from him due to the personality issues. I don't want to bring that negative attention to my team. I don't know if you could put a clause in where it's like shut your mouth or else we cut you. Like, I don't know how that stuff works, but they need to shape him up. Any team that's going to get him needs to shape him up. The other teams that I would still stay away from him is the young guys. I don't want Dillon Brooks on a rebuilding team because he's a big project to get that shot chucking, loudmouth. Like, why would you take a risk on that either? So I think it's those middle of the road teams that are looking for like a risk to take. I say the Washington Wizards. What do they have to lose? What do they have to lose? You think the Chicago Bulls?
Hell no.
Where
They
else
already
does
got
he
Patrick
go?
Beverly. The hell, Patrick Beverly and Dillon Brooks on the same team. It's gonna be shootouts every night in
But
Chicago.
I'm saying they are going nowhere. Like, why would the Wizards not take a chance? Because Dillon Brooks has some upside. I'm not going to sit here and say he doesn't.
But
The
why would
Mavericks?
they take it? But like, if I were the Wizards, I'd rather turn in a direction where I'm like completely rebuilding, not
No,
taking a
because they
chance
already
on Dillon
signed
Brooks.
KP, Kyle Kuzma, and Brad Beal. They're in the middle of a wasteland right now. I'm saying if I was the Pacers, I'm not touching him. If I'm the Magic, I'm not touching him. If I'm the Hornets, why would you make a mockery of your franchise even more? The Pistons, I'm not touching him. But I'm not touching him if I'm the Knicks, the Sixers, the Celtics, the Bucks. Like, who else is there? The Hawks? Like, what? The Heat are not taking him.
Yeah, no.
I think it falls to those teams in Mediocreville. And in the West, I mean, there's not many. The Timberwolves? The Mavericks?
Nah.
I'm not taking it if I'm the Jazz.
I see what you're talking
There's too many
about.
positive vibes. The Trailblazers?
Yeah.
Does Dame want him over there? Like, where do you go?
I don't know, because you have to literally ask yourself as a GM, do you want you want a guy that can play, is perennially like best perimeter defender in the league, maybe up there, but he is a below average
what'd you
efficiency
say?
type of guy, like perennially one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, Dillon Brooks.
He's
Don't even sit there and
good.
try
I
to-
would not put him up there, though.
What do you mean? What do we have to
Dillon
go off
Brooks?
Yeah, not that high
Yeah,
up. You're
Dillon
giving him too much
Brooks.
praise now.
No.
of? As a defender, who is a better perimeter defender for the Memphis Grizzlies than Dillon Brooks? Like, Dillon Brooks is the guy. He literally said,
I thought you were saying for
Yes.
the league.
"No, I'm saying when you're looking at Memphis, Memphis is literally saying, okay, we got LeBron tonight, we got KD tonight.
Well,
Dillon Brooks,
they'd
you're going to
replace him
guard
with
the best
another
players on the
perimeter
other
defender.
team, right? So
It's not
the
a-
only upside that he
it's
has
not a
to
big
his game
statement.
is defense. That's it. You can't
Yes,
like
but that's
Sandy
not
said.
saying he's one of the league's best perimeter defenders just because that's the one thing he could do.
Okay, so if he's not one of the league's best perimeter defenders, then what the hell is he in the league for then? Why would he be in the league?
Because
why
he's
would,
a good defender. He's not one of the league's best defenders. You're allowed to be good at something and still be in the league. Ron Toscano Anderson isn't good at anything, and he's in the NBA.
I hope you ain't need to yell, but nonetheless, whatever. I'm not
I'm
going to sit
saying
here and
that's
defend.
not a hard concept to grasp. There's a lot of dudes who are just athletic, like Wenyan Gabriel, and that's why
And
he's
they're
in the
just not
NBA.
good.
yeah, but
And they're
Dillon-
just not good.
Dillon
Yeah.
Dillon Brooks is not athletic at all. I wouldn't say that. I'm not.
But he's
why are we doing
a
this? I'm
good
not- I'm-
defender, which is why he can belong on a roster
I
spot.
would say this. He's a
he can
solid
create
defender.
his own
but
shot.
If
His
you
form
are
is ugly.
nah, because here's my thing, right? He's a.
Bro.
I'd
Nah,
say he's a
nah,
solid
nah.
defender. Let's just meet in the middle. He's a solid defender, right? If he's a solid defender,
Yeah,
but he
not
can't-
one of the league's best. All right, I got my
can't
way.
Shoot.
I got my way.
He can't shoot. He cannot
just
shoot.
meet in the middle.
Right? I'm thinking about. I think about guys like Matisse Thybulle when he was in Philadelphia. Bro could not shoot a lick, but when he gets to Portland and he gets a little bit more of a little green light, now he can knock down some corner 3-point shots that you need. So it's a situation of like, where do you drop him where his game itself can evolve past where it is right now?
I gave you a
He
couple
is
places,
one of
and
the
I want you guys
worst-
to tell me that would be a good spot, or else he's playing in China. Who else is picking him up?
God.
I don't see. Like in my opinion, I see a team like the Bucks or the Cavs could benefit off him. I like the Wizards. The Wizards are a good team as well, but the Bucks and Cavs also do fit his play if he's willing to take the money. I'm assuming that he's
I'm
not gonna have
saying,
an
why
ego.
would they risk that?
Risk what? He's not gonna have a huge role in the offense. I'm saying if he
No,
puts his
he's
ego
not.
aside.
But you see how he's made the Grizzlies a mockery. largely part to him. John Morant's part of it too, but Dillon Brooks has been on ESPN and on a negative light for the last three months.
I don't know.
I'm saying they got to clean him up, but
yeah, but like if he could put aside and he's willing to, like I'm saying, as a player,
sure, yeah, for fit,
there's other teams. But I agree with you where it's like I'm making assumptions on a guy I don't know. So for all I know, he might be the biggest douchebag and he'll continue to do this, or for all I know, he'll become a saint and he'll be very nice. I don't know what Dillon Brooks is going to do. That's what I mean. Like, you don't know what he's going to do. So I'm not going to make assumptions that he's going to carry his antics into next season because, people make mistakes and people grow as you get older, and maybe he grows from this and maybe he becomes a respected NBA player. I'm not going to trash on the man and say, no, he's not going to get a spot on these teams because he did stuff last season. No. If he's willing to take the money, if he's willing to agree to a role, there are teams for him. If he's not, well, ladies and gentlemen, you have your CBA 2024 MVP and Dillon Brooks.
AZ, I don't know about you, but my supplement routine has gotten out of control. Between all the various vitamins, minerals, and probiotics we're meant to take, it was way too much.
Hoop, I couldn't agree more, bro. Luckily, Athletic Greens is here to help with that simple solution. In every scoop of AG1, you're getting 75 high-quality ingredients in a formula that tastes great and is designed to be better absorbed in the gut.
I take my health seriously, so I'm making sure I get what I need throughout the day with AG1, especially when we're shooting around on the court or getting roasted by our fans on social media. It helps support digestion, mental focus, sleep, and more.
Yeah, man, I use AG1 as well, and it's super easy to drink. I just add 1 scoop into my glass of water every morning. It's great for my gut health as it contains a blend of pre- and probiotics.
So, if you're ready to take ownership of your health, today is the perfect time to start. Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/basketballforever. That's athleticgreens.com/basketballforever. Check it out. Let's talk about who is in the playoffs. Speaking of some things that have been hot topics, Jordan Poole in Game 1 against the Lakers. That's been a big thing going around right now with that deep 3 that he took to try and tie the game. I'm going to start this conversation off, and then I'm going to let you guys give me your thoughts on the statement I'm going to make. That's an acceptable shot. That was a good shot.
I made a video on TikTok. Shout out, by the way, I got my account back. I told you guys last episode it got hacked. I got it back. Yeah. Shout out Kai from the TikTok management. It came in clutch. But I said it was a bad shot, mainly because not only is there 10 seconds left on the clock, I know he was hot from 3 that game. That was not a deep shot. That was beyond the hash, like, I don't know what they marked it as, but close to a 30-foot shot. And while, yes, he's one of the few guys in the league that's capable of making that, if we're going to put it on a scale of how good the shot was and how realistic it is of going in, maybe a 2 or a 3 at that point, right? Not much higher. You can get that look at any point. There's no one that's going to close out that far unless there's like 1 second left on the clock. You can get that if you dribble around, don't find anything, you can get that again. But there was 10 seconds left on the clock. I think the Warriors had 2 timeouts left. They could have called time. They had plenty of time to keep his dribble alive and get back to Steph Curry, who was flaming hot and the main reason why they had that 12-point comeback. So that's the if it was Steph Curry in that situation and he's taking the shot, I say it's an acceptable shot for sure. Even with 10 seconds, even with the timeouts, it's a good shot. But Jordan Poole is not the one to be taking that in this situation, especially when he's not as reliable as maybe 2 other guys or 3 other guys in your team, scoring-wise. So that's my perspective. It's not like an all-time bad shot, but it's not a good decision.
But let's look at this. Speaking from your perspective, okay, well, the other guys, he's not the first or second option. I agree with you. But look at where those options were. Steph Curry was getting doubled. Steph Curry brought the ball up from the right side of the court, handed it to Draymond Green. Draymond's looking for him. Steph's doubled. Steph was double teamed. Steph was not going to get a shot off that possession. He was not.
That's why you could call a timeout.
There was no way in hell that. Yeah, that's out on Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole, he's in the heat of the moment and he gets an open look. He gets an open. What is he supposed to do?
So you also have 10 seconds to get the ball back to him. Maybe
that's the that's the thing. I'm with Hoop on the,
I'll be honest,
the 10-second part.
In the heat of the moment, you have an open shot, and that was probably the only open shot they were going to get in that possession. You were not going to get more open in that last 10 seconds. You weren't. And
he could have took a step forward and been as open.
I don't think he could have. Go look at I don't know who was closing him out, but somebody was closing him out. He would not have been able to get a step forward.
5 feet away from him.
Vanderbilt. Okay, so Jordan Poole takes a step in while Vanderbilt's running at him. You think Vanderbilt's not getting to him? Vanderbilt's a great defender.
Clay was right next to him. Was he not?
Thank you. Clay was right there in the corner.
Vando in and went to Clay.
If Jordan Poole had just taken a step in and then made the defense come to him, like Hoop said, the shot that Jordan Poole gets, you can get that shot at any point in the game, but it's mainly because not everybody is going to be willing to come out there and guard you from 30 feet. If Jordan Poole takes 2 steps in and then lets the defense come to him and then sets up Klay Thompson in the corner right there, that would have been all net. Like Sandy said, Steph was being double teamed. I don't think Steph would have even got a good look off in that possession alone. But the thing with the Warriors is constant ball movement. That's what got them. That's what helped them go on a 14-0 run, was constantly swinging the ball and literally letting the defense come to wherever their shooters were. Now, here's the thing. I'm not mad personally. It's Jordan Poole. Like Sandy said, heat of the moment. Like, I completely agree with you. Heat of the moment. You had 6 threes. This was literally one of your best games that you've had in the last 3 weeks. So screw it. Whatever. We'll live. You can't, the only problem is that for me, it was a 14-0 run, and then you get to the nitty gritty. Steph gets blocked by Anthony Davis trying to drive in and hit a floater. That's completely on Steph. I don't know why he decided to do that, but whatever. But you just knew as soon as JP took that shot that I think every Laker player probably gasped. As soon as it hit the rim, they're just like, okay, thank God. That's how I can see it. So it's not necessarily a bad shot. I just think that given the amount of time that was left, you probably could have had a better look. I don't know. It's hard to really examine it because you look at Jordan Poole, like Hoop said, he can hit that shot. I've seen him hit the shot, but it's you want to just know that he has better time management skills, or at least you just want to have that feeling. So going into game 2 tonight, if a situation like that occurs again, maybe Steve Kerr calls a timeout to ensure that nothing bad happens if the ball ends up in Jordan Poole's hands. But I don't know.
I'm watching the shot back now. I'm watching the shot back now because I want to be able to get a grasp on everything. Klay Thompson was not going to get open. LeBron James was in that corner with them, and Vanderbilt was not on the side that Klay Thompson was. Klay Thompson had 2 guys near him. So if LeBron leaves, that's only a 2-pointer left open for Andrew Wiggins because Andrew Wiggins was in the paint. They were not getting an open shot. I'm looking at the play right now. Klay Thompson was not getting a shot off. LeBron knew what he was doing. LeBron stayed in the paint with Wiggins because you could get a 2-pointer. It doesn't matter. They're up by 3. And Klay Thompson has, who's number 7? Who's number 7 on the Lakers? I don't even know who number 7 is.
Troy Brown Jr.
How many times?
Anyway, if you put your finger on the screen, how many times would you have to keep putting your fingers to get from where Poole was from the line? Because that was a deep shot, bro.
I'm looking at it right now, and I'll tell you right now,
that was a deep shot.
He was not. If he took a step in, Vanderbilt was coming to him at an angle. Vanderbilt wasn't in front of him. Vanderbilt was coming to him at an angle. He's not getting an open shot. Anthony Davis is right there too. Anthony Davis is right at the top of the key. So if he takes a step in, AD can get to him too. They're not getting a more open shot.
I think they call a timeout. That's all. I'm saying.
I agree. I'm not saying.
I'm not blaming Jordan Poole. I think in the heat of the moment, I'm going to say he sold, but I'm not going to be upset about it for like it's not a J.R. Smith moment.
Yeah,
I'm going to say he sold, but he didn't. It wasn't like an all-time sell.
No,
but
it was a deep shot. Like looking at it, from first glance, it is hard to defend. It is a deep shot. But I will say this: I don't think this was his intention because I don't think Jordan Poole saw the whole court. And in my mind, he did make a dumb decision. But any other decision wouldn't have been as good.
It was a light sell.
It was a light sell because I'll say this. I know his ass didn't see Klay Thompson have 2 guys near him. I know the only person he saw was Curry getting double teamed because it's impossible for you to see the whole court at once like that in that split second, right? So clearly it looks like a dumb shot, but that dumb shot is the best opportunity they have in that possession unless Steve Kerr calls a timeout, which he didn't. And I don't know how he did it. I would have rather have it half court. I would have rather had Steph Curry not bring the ball up because that's easier for defenses to get on him, right? If it's half court and Steph Curry can run around off ball for 5 seconds to try and get the ball, that is a much better position to be in. So to me, that's a coaching error. That's not a Jordan Poole error. And that's my opinion.
I just want to say before we move on, like in the moment when this happened, I remember I'm watching the game, right? And I'm watching it on, because I was at one of my friends, so we were watching it on the stream. So we were like 3 to 5 seconds behind. So I get a text at 12:33 in the morning in the LePodcast group chat from Hoop, and it said, Jordan Poole, what the heck? This is right before he shoots, right? So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, damn, what did he do? And then I watched the play happen, and then Sadie responds with a laughing emoji.
TV was delayed?
It was delayed like 10 seconds.
Bro, his TV was delayed on a legal stream.
On a legal stream, yeah. So then...
On NBA League Pass internet was off for Z.
Yeah. And when Hoop said dude was hot, but come on now, I looked at the play. As soon as he did that, I responded by saying, bro has the IQ of a baby squirrel. So I'm just going to put that out there.
I'll tell you right now, I was in my bed and I was like, man, do I go at this guy? I just got off a flight. I only got to watch the second half because I was flying that day. So I get home, I'm watching the second half, and my first instinct is, I got to text this guy. And then I just see you text. I was like, man, would I want him to text me if I just saw that? And I was like, no, I'm just going to let him be. I'm just going to let the guy be at his peace, man. I'm not going to do it to him. But I just nosy. My thumbs were ready, bro. I was about to turn to a thumb warrior, man, just going at you. But man, I saw that text and I was like, this guy's hurt. Like, you could tell he was hurt. There was no there was no laughing. There was no followed up text. There was no like jokingly mad. He was just angry. And then I was like, this is not the time to go at him for the Warriors.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Speaking of this game, I wanna push some nasty agendas. Anthony Davis, this should not be a debate, is clearly the best defensive player in the world right now. And it's nice that he's fully healthy for the playoffs, because the last time, just remember, Anthony Davis has different modes when he's quote-unquote healthy. He's not Kawhi Leonard, where when he's playing, he's Kawhi Leonard. Anthony Davis has levels to him, but he seems to be at this peak level. I know Kevon Looney is not a great matchup, but he's still dominating regardless. Is he better than Giannis? Because remember in December, when I said when Anthony Davis is playing at his peak self, I said he's better than Giannis, and I might stick by it, bro. I might.
No, I don't know. No. I'm not letting that slide.
He is an all-time great defensive presence.
Yes, I agree, but so is Giannis.
I don't know if there's five better.
Giannis was. I'll say this: the Bucks' downfall. There's a lot of factors to it. I'm not making excuses for them. They lost, but number one, Giannis got injured. Number two, prayers up. Coach, I don't know if you guys saw, Coach Bud's brother died during that series, right? So obviously that team was not in the right. Like that's a terrible, terrible thing to happen, especially during playoff time. Prayers up to Coach Budenholzer and his family. But I'm not knocking on the Bucks. They had a lot of things happen to them last second. They would still be my favorite if we restart. I don't care. Like I would still. I fully back my take that I said the Bucks were going to win. Unfortunately, life has unfortunate circumstances, and what happened. I still think Giannis is the best player. I think this is a recency bias thing. I think this is a recency bias thing.
Well, here's the thing. I did say that back in December.
No, you did say. No. Yes. Yeah, to be fair, you did say it a while ago. But I think it's because you haven't seen Giannis play and only Anthony Davis play at his peak.
I
just can't compare.
I think it's more so like the defense is astounding. I will say this about the Bucks though. Prayers up to Budenholzer. This is obviously an awful thing that happened, but I'm not going to excuse the fact that he should be fired. And I think we've been saying this a while. Like he needs to be gone. Sticking Drew Holiday on Jimmy Butler and letting him torch him, even though he's the best perimeter defender, I think we can all agree in the world right now. No one should have that assignment for 48 minutes without any sort of help. So he needs to be gone, and I think the Bucks will be back. But what did you want to say about Anthony Davis? Sorry, I had to just get that out.
Was it B or Z?
Yeah.
Someone was saying that I was having recency bias.
He said recency bias. My thing is like I'm on the because like I think I was with you back in December, honestly. When you had said that, and it was because I was like, man, AD was on that stretch. He was on like that 5.
We need to bring up the clip for that because I do not remember Z being on his side.
Really?
I don't know.
I thought I was getting blitzed, bro.
I think Z is the recency bias, man. I think Z is the recency bias, bro.
You can change your mind though, because I've said this. I think a healthy Anthony Davis that plays like this all the time, he should be the best player in the world. He has expectations to be the best player in the world, and finally he's showing it.
That was what I was about to get to, is that I can't.
Bro, he showed it in December too for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It comes in like once in a blue moon.
The problem that I have is that literally when we talk about Anthony Davis, there's always an if. With Giannis, there's never an if. With AD, it's if he's healthy, if he's in the right mindset, the domination mindset or whatever. Like you said, there's different versions of Anthony Davis. You don't know which one you're going to get. When you look at the Lakers and the reasons that they lost the 2 games that they lost to the Grizzlies, AD genuinely kind of looked a little uninterested, but it's not just him. The entire Lakers team did. But that's my point. It's like with Giannis, I feel like he's always on go. There's never a moment where I'm looking at Giannis and saying, oh, he doesn't look like he wants to play defense tonight, or he doesn't look like he wants to be a big tonight, or stretch forward, or however you want to call it. So I don't think I'm going to jump the gun yet. And if I do jump the gun, it's going to only be because Anthony Davis is still in the playoffs. And I think I saw a stat where he has more blocks in 7 games than he did in the entire 2021 or 2020 playoffs, something like that. Something weird. But even still, it's stats like that are you can't look away from them, especially when you're given he was blocking everybody on the Memphis Grizzlies. He was out there, had 4 blocks last night or 2 nights ago against the Warriors. Right. I told you going into this series AD was going to average 3.5 blocks per game. I think that
he didn't foul anyone because they wouldn't go in there. What was the free throw discrepancy?
It was 30. The Lakers had 25 more free throws than the Warriors did, maybe 30.
Yeah, they had 29 to 6.
Yeah, it was
could have been 29 to 5. Yeah, 29 to 6.
So I don't know. I would say Anthony Davis is the best defender right now. I don't think
the free throw thing. That's not an excuse though. The Lakers just got to the rim way more. The Warriors were shot chucking.
That's their game.
No, but a large part of that is because they see that big dude down there.
Yeah. Speaking of cool facts, I really like that fact you brought up with the Blocksy because I'm going to throw a quick fact to help us transition into our next segment. Prior to Game 2, I'm not sure if this is still a fact, but I heard the announcer say that the Boston Celtics have more turnovers than assists this playoff run, which is incredible. I don't think I've ever heard of a team after that many games to have more turnovers than... I'm going to actually double check because I don't know if the announcer was on one. But, let's talk about the Celtics and the Sixers here because we saw a murder last night in Game 2. I don't know about you guys, but I have never seen a team make that many threes in a row in the span of 2 minutes. I think it was in the third quarter. And I've never seen a team respond crumbling the way the Sixers crumbled. Tyrese Maxey looked like he was scared. I saw Tyrese Maxey bring up the ball. He was scared. He did. None of them wanted to take a shot up.
Man.
I have seen, and to this day, I'm doing a new award show. You know how they do the most valuable? I'm going to do the least valuable, okay? The least valuable pump fake I've ever seen in my life is PJ Tucker. I don't know who the hell he thinks he's fooling when he's in the corner, Harden kicks it to him, and he's trying to trick the defender that he's going to shoot. Because PJ Tucker has and I will say this, ugliest pump fake I've ever seen in my life. It is clearly obvious that man is not going to shoot that 3, and he's going to drive and get his ass blocked by Robert Williams. I was getting deja vu. I was getting deja vu watching that same play over and over again. Harden goes dribbles around to the top, to the diagonal of the key, whatever, right? Drives, does a cool pass to PJ Tucker in the corner because he gets doubled with PJ Tucker's man. PJ Tucker, and then just drives in the paint where he thinks he's getting a free reverse layup, and his ass gets smoked every time.
We have been watching that play for years, ever since Houston, and I have never been scared of PJ Tucker attacking a closeout. I never have.
And off a pump fake in the corner, it's always the same thing. Pump fake and the worst part is he's pump faking nobody. He's open. He's open. He's pump faking the fans. He's pump faking the announcers. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, bro. I don't know every once in a while,
is there an incentive? No. I'm serious. Is there an incentive in some contracts where if you pump fake a certain amount of times you get paid?
Oh, jeez.
Because at that point he's just tapping square.
Yeah, he'll put his back foot on the line when he's trying to attack. He doesn't have that one dribble pull-up in his game. He's not going to do that. He's just trying to run like a bull to the rim.
I wonder what he's going to do. Oh, I wonder. Every time he drives from the corner, I think in my head, he's going to try and reverse this, and he's not going to make it.
But, so me and Z, first off, we have a scheduled apology from our partner over at Basketball Forever. Shout out Christian, who's the Sixers fan. But I don't know if I need to apologize anymore. This was after the James Harden game, where, of course, I was trying to drive home my narrative, but even I know that James Harden, that's not his final form. This is his final form. What was he? Z 2 for 14 from the field?
2 for 14. 0 of 6 from 3.
I feel bad for the guy at this point because he really seems invested, but his game just doesn't translate. Those step back threes on Al Horford are not that are like 3 feet behind the line. Maybe in his prime in the regular season they'll fall. They're just not all that reliable. I think he got most of his points off free throws, which is still a valuable trait to have. But when you don't have that in-between game or is not very reliable on it, like he's not looking to take it, you're just not going to get a lot of points when you're shooting poorly. And unfortunately, that happens a lot more in the playoffs. But I am going as far to say that the Celtics might win in 5 games. I think they might.
Yeah. Also, I don't want to be known as the guy that spread false.
I'll say 6. I
don't want to be known as the guy that spread false info. They don't. I don't know what that announcer was on, but they averaged 27 assists and 12 turnovers. I was gonna say that's a ridiculous stat. I wanted to bring it up because I was like, I don't know if I was the only person that heard that.
Especially with how well the Celtics swing the ball, I thought
that's
that was
what I mean.
great.
Maybe they were just talking about a specific game or like most game. I don't know what they were talking about. I don't know if it was a slip up by the announcer, but I heard that and I wanted to bring it up because I wanted to see if anybody else heard that too. I looked it up. False. I just said it to segue into another thing. I'm not.
I just want to.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that Sixers got false hope from game 1, and I think a big thing we need to talk about, by the way, is the disappearance of Jason Tatum, because the Celtics are really covering the fact.
We got to praise him first though, because I don't want to keep going through this cycle where every time he has a bad game, I'll say this first. I don't recognize the good games, but I will recognize the bad games because it fits my narrative. Z, I know you wanted to say something regarding the Sixers apology and probably regarding James Harden. Then we'll get on to the Celtics because I do have some stuff to say about the Celtics.
Okay,
but go ahead.
To my dear friend Christian, I know you wanted an apology for me and Hoop. He literally told us, or texted us and said, "I'm expecting an apology," and this was before the game, wasn't it? This was, or was it like during the first quarter?
Before.
But so I'm sitting here like, okay. I started laughing when I saw that text. I was like, we're going to see how this game plays out. Because Joel's back. He just won MVP. Philly fans are just really ecstatic right now. And then what happens? Good old-fashioned Harden and Embiid. A duo that I still don't know how to analyze to this day. Because I was expecting Joel Embiid to go out there and probably drop like 40 and 20. Like, I was expecting him to have some type of MVP stamp type of game, especially in the game 2, especially when your team won without you. And James Harden turned back the hands of time. And I do want to give James Harden his credit here because game 1 Harden, I was enjoying every second of it. The play you brought up about him switching on to Al Horford and not having that step back in his bag, he hit the eventual game-winning 3 over Al Horford in game 1. With the, like, they were doing the same little pick and roll and letting him switch, and Harden was just going to work. It was beautiful. 45 on 17 of 30 shooting and 7 of 14 from 3. That was James Harden in game 1. Jason Tatum, 39 on 14 of 25 shooting 4 or 5 from 3, 11 boards, right? Jaylen Brown had 23 on only 10 shots, very efficient, 8 of 10. And then we go to game 2, bro. I literally thought, before we go to that, I'm just going to say game 1, I looked at the Celtics game and I said the Celtics are playing down to their competition right now. They are playing down to a team that is literally hobbled, doesn't have a big man besides Joel Embiid, and their best player is a big man in Joel Embiid. And they needed James Harden to literally turn into Houston Harden. But the game I saw last night, bro, oh my God. Isn't Joel now 1-9 against Boston? What is it? Is that all time? Is that all time numbers? Or is that because that's
just, of course in the play
in the playoffs, obviously. But that is insane to me. I was like, I thought I had to wash my eyes, see what I was looking at. But Lord, when I look at this Philly team, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
hey, look at the screen.
Yeah, no, I was out of screen because I had to grab my Paul Reed button.
MVP.
When you play the Sixers without Joel Embiid, you gotta play up to the comp, bro. They just were ready in game 1,
you gotta play
dog.
up to the comp, man. Nah,
Blue Coats legend.
That's not
G-League
even crazy
MVP,
to say.
Paul Reed.
Listen. I'll say this. I got caught up when I was talking to Tatum talk, so it looked like I was gonna hate on Tatum. I'm not about to hate on Tatum because he's been playing great. He just had one bad game. I wanted to say the disappearance of Jason Tatum in game 2 and the dominance we saw from the Celtics without him scares me if I'm an NBA team. Because if my superstar can play like that in a game and we can still win by 30 against a team like the Sixers, that's a conversation where it's like, what the hell are we gonna do? Because teams like the Suns, they don't got no depth, right? One of their superstars do something, they're not doing nothing, right? The Nuggets, Jamal Murray played like trash. They still, Jokic is always going to turn out. But
I agree.
The Nuggets do have some depth. But the Celtics, to me, have the scariest depth in the remaining in the playoffs right now, right? They prove that when their star is not showed up, the other guys will.
They just have the best team. I don't know why. Grant Williams, I've seen the last couple of games, has kind of been rotting on the bench. Got like a 4-minute game. Like, he is just a knockdown shooter when the guys aren't, when the starters are out. Like, when you tell, like, they have, I don't know, they said Mazzulla said they were going to take like 53s or something, and they
40.
ended up taking like 49, right? Something crazy like that. But it's just the penetrate, kick, swing, and they have dudes in the corners all lined up. Al Horford getting ready with that wacky shot for him. That
Malcolm Brogdon is like as a Steph Curry apparently.
Dude, they shoot threes like it's layups. So I just don't know why, especially when Grant Williams is a versatile defender that he hasn't been playing as much.
They're the deepest team in the league, bro.
But
by far,
that's how scary the depth is.
And I love how everybody got
like
involved.
that rotting on the bench.
Everybody gets involved on the Celtics. I think 7 players shot a 3 that night, maybe even more. By the third quarter, 7 players have already hit a 3. Not shot one, hit a
baby.
3. It's scary, but we don't have a lot of time left in the episode, so quickly we're going to go over that last matchup with the Nuggets and the Suns.
Hey, you forgot about the Knicks.
Oh, the Knicks and the Heat.
Why does everyone roll their eyes when it comes to that series, bro?
Yeah. Oh,
it's not my fault Cleveland couldn't handle it.
I'm so excited.
It's not my fault Milwaukee couldn't handle it.
I'm so excited. Oh,
Jeez.
I'm so excited
for
about
a reason.
I'm so excited.
Julius Randle, 25, 12, and 8.
With Jimmy Butler on the bench. But
see you Saturday,
Jimmy. They lose that game.
See you Saturday.
If Jimmy played that game, they lose. By the way, you beat
Caleb
the Heat.
Martin doesn't stay out there.
You beat the Heat by 6 at home without Jimmy Butler.
Eric Spoelstra's a great coach. I'm not sweating that at all. I'll see you in Miami. I have to shout out one more person though. Tobias Harris in the game 2 loss went 16-7 on 7 for 12 shooting. Might be the only dude in the world who could have a decent night when everyone else is failing and still not shoot the ball more than 12 times. Shout out to Tobias Harris.
Hey, just remember the Sixers fans.
He did his job. 16-7.
Sixers fans.
That is a Tobias Harris stat line, bro.
It was either Tobias or Jimmy Butler, and we all know what you choose. But we thank you so much for tuning in to episode 70 of LePodcast. We will see you guys in episode 71. Peace.